Okay.
So to put it all into context, we want you to see the big picture. We want you to realize who you really are and why you're here. We want you to realize that you project a vibration forward long before you actually live the manifestation of it. But by tuning your frequency to the tuning of your source and to the tuning of your desire, you can then begin to live, to feel, to see, to taste and smell and touch the reality even before it is manifest. And that's why those like your teachers, and that's why we call it an illusion, meaning that the majority of the world is not looking, is not tuned to it, cannot see it as it really is. So how does that play out in the world that you are living? How does knowing this help you?
Tell you, the reason I'm asking this question, you spoke about if you don't pay attention to your thoughts and you don't feel your emotions and you don't focus and direct it to a better feeling place, don't worry, it'll get bigger and it'll get bigger. And when something happens to me and I go back and see how I was feeling for a day or so, it's not a surprise that I was, say a situation happens. I'll give you a simple example, something very easy people will relate to. I drop my son off to school every morning, and there's a small stretch right before he gets to school. It's an internal, this thing. And I have the sunroof open. I like my son to stand over it. You rarely see sun in Oregon or Seattle. So he likes it. He loves that experience. It's really joyful. And we've been doing it for over 2 years now. But for a day I've been feeling powerless. I didn't pay attention to it. And it happened. And apparently one of the students' mom was a police officer or something. So she complained to this thing. And of course they reported to child services and all. But while I spent about 2 hours in it. And at the time I was trying to access, I wasn't able to get to a better feeling place. But then I later eventually got it. I got over it. Everything went well. Everything is fine. But I keep telling myself it's an illusion anyway. Don't take it too seriously. It's going to be okay. Yeah.
Well, if you really want to take that further, we would say to you that the reality that really is real is this vortex of creation that you may or may not have allowed to manifest yet, but this vortex of well-being that you have carved out of the details of your life experience, that is the only reality that the source within you will focus upon. And when you, by virtue of the way you feel, tune yourself into the vibration of the vortex, now you are then allowing yourself the fullness of the reality that you and the source within you has carved out of this experience. And the true distortion from reality is lived by those who stand outside the vortex, who disallow their knowledge of abundance, who disallow their knowledge of wellness, who disallow their knowledge of freedom, who disallow their knowledge of worthiness. So it really is debatable about what is the illusion or what is the distortion and what is the reality. In everything that we are visiting with you about, our powerful intention is to awaken within you your awareness of who you really are, and to empower you by helping you to realize the value of the contrast you live. But by helping you to realize that when the contrast helps you to identify a desire, to then give your undivided attention to it. So when you have been inspired from broader perspective to break the ridiculous rules and laws of your physical time-space reality, and to follow your heart and soar in alignment with the creation of all that is, and someone who is still rooted to those distorted laws of trying to control conditions in order to protect children and so forth, shines their disapproving light on you, and you give your attention to their disapproval, and therefore your vortex spits you out and you stand there in the darkness with them. There are so many people who live outside the vortex who are just moving all those parts around, trying to find the right behaviors and the right things to do, and in their complete disempowerment, blaming each other for the disempowerment they feel. So when something like that happens to you, the most important thing that happens is that you put more into your vortex of creation. So what do you think that incident caused you, when you know what you don't want, what do you think it caused you to ask for with greater clarity?
Get rid of this ridiculous loss. I mean, it was 10 miles an
But
hour.
wait,
Yeah.
but wait. Well, that may be the first thing. Let's get rid of the ridiculous laws, and let's get rid of the ridiculous people who seek to uphold the ridiculous laws, but that's trying to control the uncontrollable. What else might have been born within you out of that?
The freedom to do what you want to do. More importantly, also, I did it for my son. The joy he experiences doing it is, it delights me.
But what we're getting at is, what do you do when you see something that may delight your child as something that may cause serious concern in others? What do you do? How do you find your right path? How do you sort it all out? How do you ever decide? How do you decide what to do when this one says you should go that way and this one says you should go that way, and all of them say you shouldn't go that way, but your heart says you want to go that way? How do you sort that out? Do you defy the delight of your child? Do you defy the soaring of your own being? And in other words, we want to say to you that if you were all, or any of you, completely law-abiding citizens, you would suck the life right out of yourself. Because what you're saying is, I'm source energy, and I came into this experience in order to define more clearly who I am and what I want. And who I really am is calling me eternally, but I must ignore that calling, and I must follow that rule, and that rule, and that rule, and that rule, because I would not want to get any of them upset with me. And we say, almost from the beginning of your experience, those who came before you have been distracting you from, calling you away from your own guidance. So here's what we really want you to hear. We're not saying that we want you to go out and defiantly break laws, because defiantly pushing against things causes you to activate a vibration that throws you out of the vortex too. You can't condemn the law and be in the vortex, and you cannot condemn the lawmakers without getting spit out of your vortex, and you cannot condemn the law keepers without throwing yourself out of the vortex. But what you can do is listen to the higher calling, listen to the higher law. In other words, when you get in sync with who you really are, you'll be able to do all of those things that you want to do. You just won't rendezvous with those who don't want you to do them. You see, this is a vortex of creation. It assembles all cooperative components. So if you and your son are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you're in the vortex, the universe is surprising and delighting you, we promise you the vortex will not bring those in who are playing a different game. So how did they get in your experience? You were not in the vortex.
Yes, I was not in the vortex.
You see.
Yes.
Yes. So this conversation is not about laws and rules. It's not about doing what other people think I should do and losing my freedom. This conversation, as is every conversation, is about meaning you, my proximity to the vortex. What does a really responsible parent do? Do you say, now, son, these are the laws of our physical time-space reality, and most of them suck, but we must keep them. We must follow these rules. And your child, still tuned in, would say, why? Why do we give up our freedom? Why would we do that? And then the rational parent would say, because if we don't keep these rules, then those people won't like us, or we'll go to jail. And think about what you're actually teaching your child. You're teaching your child, if you are to, in a very deliberate way, hold to all of those laws. What you're saying is, we were born with guidance, but we're not advised to use it. Instead, we must be advised. Jerry and Esther were in Stanford, Connecticut the other day, and they'd walked across the street to have dinner. And as they walked across the street, Esther said, "Ooh, I feel a little bit like a fish out of water here." It was a busy place, and they were pedestrians, and Esther's accustomed to being the driver of a monster bus, and it just felt odd to her. And they had a wonderful dinner, and as they were walking back, was a very broad intersection, and there was a sign that had the walk signal, but there were also numbers counting down to let you know how many seconds you had to get across the intersection. And so Jerry and Esther were obediently watching this sign, and they were pacing themselves as they went across the intersection, and a car who was going down the street turned right in front of them so fast it was amazing it even made the corner, and actually brushed their clothing as it went by. It was moving so fast. And it took their breath away. They both stopped. And Esther said, "Well, I've been saying that when we go, we want to go together, and I think we might be practicing." Seems like a really efficient way to take care of that. "When we're ready, we'll come here." And later, as they got to thinking about it, because it was just amazingly close. Now, the driver, for the most part, knew what he was doing. And Jerry and Esther were not in the vibrational mode of making their transition yet. But the thing that was really evident in that episode is that instead of being aware or tuned to their well-being, ordinarily Jerry is looking, always aware of his environment. But the sign had hypnotized him. The sign which professed to know better for him. In other words, it said walk, and it said you've got this long to do it. And as he was watching that, he realized after the fact that he had substituted that for everything else that he usually utilizes. Now, it was not a close call for them. We want to emphasize that. But it was startling and unsettling and uncomfortable and unnecessary. But they had turned their guidance over to something else. And that's what sometimes the rules and laws of your environment do. It's a sort of a tricky line that you walk, because your society says these are the laws, and if you are to be a good citizen, you will uphold the laws. And so the people of your society expect you to at least pretend to do that with your children. And so here you are in a situation where instead of following your heart and following your bliss and doing, in other words, there was no risk to your child, and you knew there was no risk to your child. Instead of doing what feels best to you, now instead you are hindering yourself, and you are following some law that someone else has put into place because of other things. Now, what is always true when someone has something unwanted happen to them? They're not in their vortex. Every single time when something unwanted happens, it's because they're not in their vortex. And so the reality of it is, if people have been living things, if the statistics that your lawmakers are touting is about people who are living unwanted things, and you understand that the unwanted things that all of them are living is because they were not in the vortex, doesn't it seem prudent that what you would do to make sure that you don't live those unwanted things is that you get into the vortex? But instead, the lawmakers who are not considering the vortex, who are only considering the results of people's manifestation who are outside the vortex, make more rules to protect more people who are outside the vortex. And so you might someday reach the place where you can say and really mean it and not lose your connection to source when you say it, "Son, those laws are for people who are not in the vortex." People who are not in the vortex, people who can't think for themselves, people who have no guidance, might need other people to tell them what to do so that more of them can survive than not. But we're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. I would so much rather have you say to your child, Learn to know the well-being of your experience, and to know that Source is calling you, and know that you are wrapped with well-being and worthiness, and know that when you are in the vibration of alignment with Source, then well-being must be your experience. And we will stand, son, say to your child, we will stand in a place of never condemning those who just don't know it. That police person is just doing her job. They're just doing what they're trained to do. They mean well. They want our well-being. They just don't know what we know. Don't give over your power to others. Don't give over your power to frivolous laws. And don't give over your power to laws that were created to protect someone. Doesn't apply to you, you see.
This is great love here for you.